Everybody's ready to go to the Giants Stadium tomorrow or today and hear Bob Melvin get announced. Huh? What? Huh?
Look, man.
What did I do wrong?
I'm going to be open-minded to Bob Melvin. But Bob Melvin is only going to be as good as the players he has on the field.
We don't need to.
He's not going to turn Mike Yastrzemski into a 300 hitter who's going to hit 30 home runs and 130 RBI. Now, I get the GM, who was it, A.J. Preller down in San Diego.
Yes.
There's a big rift between him and Melvin.
Oh, great.
That team didn't make the playoffs. That team had leadership issues. Where does Bob Melvin fall in line with that? Is that all on the GM? Is that all on the players? Bob Melvin's not bad, but he's been a manager at Seattle, Arizona, Oakland, San Diego, and I get he's a Bay Area native. But I wanted something new and fresh.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was teasing. I don't want to talk Giants.
No, we're not.
Like, whatever. They can do their thing. But it is funny that you said that basketball season kind of snuck up on us because football season is always like king of the top, right? The top of the top. Fantasy basketball, football. Obviously, there's college football going on. There's the NFL. Your Niners. The Niners are good. You know what I mean? Football will always be king. The Warriors have been either the number one or number two sports story for close to a decade in this market. It did feel like it kind of snuck up on us.
It did. That's all.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. We're so hyper-focused on the 5-0 start. Now, we did go to Media Day with the Golden State Warriors, Chris Paul. We've seen it. The preseason game. I guess we saw some preseason games, and it felt like an extension of the preseason last night at times.
Was it
first
old
game.
Hat, maybe, because we've done this so many times? Because the CP3 thing, I thought, instantaneously would rejuvenate the interest.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people just wanted to see what it looked like. They were just curious.
Were you surprised at the CP3 chant?
I was surprised at the CP3
Can you play
chant.
it, Spadoni? We've got the chant here.
CP3, 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 CP3. I don't have any.
When we asked Frank Vogel about Booker, he said his IQ has really impressed his head coach.
If I told Warrior fans 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, you're going to be chanting CP3 when he gets one of those egregious, over-the-top flop calls.
Heck, 4 days ago.
My jaw dropped.
Here's
you know what? I fist pumped too.
Here's CP3 on here in the chat.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it was. Dario looked at me and started laughing, and I couldn't help but laugh. That was a first.
That was a first. It was a first. Let's go to Anthony and Benicia.
It really is crazy, isn't it?
It is wild. It is wild. Anthony, Benicia, what's happening, my man? Good morning.
Top of the morning, fellas. Top of the morning. First off, hey, Vontae, Drew, a.k.a. Anna, wasn't as bad at all as when Mia called for Guru, boy. That one was... That was a little uncomfortable, but
that was because he was lying about Vegas.
That was fun yesterday.
I wasn't lying about anything,
man. Yeah. So, but I got two things. Yeah, there you go. I got two things. One, as a fan, I am excited about the season, but I'm not that confident on if it's going to work or not. I'm not sure when you think about the styles of which the Warriors play versus CP3. You know how opposites attract, but sometimes if you're too opposite or you got too many differences, it just doesn't work in any sort of relationship, right? Like, you got to have a little balance. So I'm really skeptical, I guess. I'm constantly optimistic. Let's just call it that way. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at two things. One, I want to see if Steve Kerr has evolved over this offseason when you consider that, like, he didn't do the best job of integrating the youngsters, and some of the youngsters had something to do with that, with their, performance or bad attitude and stuff like that when they weren't getting playing time. But Joe said something about 20 minutes ago where he said you really, really are going to need the youngsters because they have the young legs, they're really athletic, and so it's important that Steve Kerr really, really does a better job this season integrating them because we lost Jordan Poole. Mm-hmm. We don't have Wiseman anymore. That ship is sailed. So I really want to see that. And then I'm also looking at Draymond Green. He got his contract, and I can care less about the money, but he's locked in for the next 3 to 4 years, and he talks a lot. And I really just want him to get focused and really be about what he says because he talks a lot of crap, and sometimes he doesn't back it up. And I just want to see a more focused and a more leadership-based person coming from Draymond, like somebody that can really grab these youngsters and say, hey, listen, because remember when he said CP3 was going to be the one to kind of like hone in on Kuminga? And I thought to myself, like, that's more your job, or should have been your job. So I'm looking at those two guys. I know I kind of babbled.
No.
I'm looking at Steve Kerr, and I'm looking at Draymond Green.
You know, it's interesting you bring up Steve Kerr.
Anthony.
I think that's a great call. The more I think about it, and B, you can interrupt me at any time, I do feel like he's got more plates that weigh the most that he's ever had to juggle simultaneously all at once. You've got the end of the Curry era, right? That's the biggest plate that you're spinning, right? Then you got this CP3 one where, I don't know, it's kind of short term, but who knows? Like, we kind of need him. You got the Draymond plate, which at any moment can go crazy. Then you've got Klay and his desires and his long-term future and his immediate impact. You got Wiggins. Looney is a very low-maintenance plate, so I'll put him way down the bottom. Then you got these youngsters that you got to juggle. So you're trying to carry all these plates and keep them all spinning, and you're trying to make it harmonious. You can make an argument this is the most difficult job he's got ahead of him this year, given where everyone is in the crossroads of their careers and where these youngsters are and the sand coming out of the hourglass on the dynasty. I think this is a really hard year for Kerr.
No, and it's a contract year as well. Now, Joe Lacob did join us on the pregame set yesterday at Chase Center, and he said, look, he believes they're getting closer and closer to an extension with Steve Kerr. He believes they're getting close. Now, there is a lot of plates to juggle, and you got to juggle some things that a lot of guys haven't dealt with before. Klay Thompson entering a true contract season. There was no doubt back after 2019 he was going to re-sign with the Golden State Warriors. He was going to get a back deal. He's going to sign.
He was
off
playing
the torn
maybe
ACL.
Best basketball of his
career.
Yeah.
This is different. This is year 13. He's in his mid-30s. He had a down year by a lot of people's standards, even though he led the league in three-point makes and shot 41%. But there were some lot of bad games, and we all know how that Lakers series ended with Klay Thompson. It wasn't pretty. He did not have a good series. How's he going to weigh it? How is he going to weigh it? Is he going to put so much weight on every single three-point attempt this season? Or are we going to look at his games every single day? Oh, he's worth $25 million. Oh, he's worth $20 million. Oh, he's worth $30 million. Oh, he's worth the max. Oh, he's not worth the max. Oh, I'll trade him. It's going to go on all season long. So, unfortunately, they weren't able to take care of Klay Thompson, or Klay Thompson wasn't able to agree with the Warriors. I don't know what's going on with those negotiations, but you hear the reports from Shams Charania that they're so far apart right now that he will probably enter free agency. How's that going to weigh with him, and how does Steve Kerr manage that psyche of Klay Thompson, one of his trusted agents? Hell, how's he going to handle Klay Thompson if he can't play the closing lineup? Again, Steve Kerr put it out there. The closing lineup, it depends how the game is going.
Whose psyche do you worry more about? I think it will be more than just these two.
I think it's Klay.
No, between Wiggins and Klay? If Wiggins and Klay get yo-yoed, I'm just saying
Wiggins is just, it's Klay. Because when Klay gets down on himself, he really gets down on himself. Wiggins is just kind of steady Eddie. He's the same all the time.
I was really surprised Wiggins wasn't in that closing lineup.
But he didn't play well because he didn't deserve those minutes. But I was surprised that Kerr, in game number one, on the floor with Kevin Durant, Yusuf Nurkic,
it was surprising.
Devin Booker, Kuminga's on the floor over Andrew Wiggins.
I know.
And I think it's going to change game to game.
I think you're right. But again, these are personalities. And one of Steve Kerr's greatest traits has been his ability to communicate and connect with his players. And I think he's going to have a very difficult time this year sitting certain guys and saying, hey, it's for the better of the team and the better of you. I think it's easy to say. I think it's hard to do.
It is hard to do, but that's why
won championships with these guys.
That's why I think handling Klay's psyche, if he doesn't finish a game, and if they're not winning, that's something that we're going to have to monitor all year long. Klay Thompson, I worry about him in that situation. I do.
Can we agree? If they truly want to be a championship contender and take the step that they need to take that they couldn't take last year, Moody and Kuminga, they don't have to be your two best players. They've got to be in your top 6, 7.
They're important players because of what they
8.
do.
I don't know. Whatever you want to say.
Well, when you think about Kevin Durant,
their role
Devin
needs
Booker,
to be more prominent.
No doubt. Jamal Murray.
Yes.
Anthony Edwards
Luka,
in Minnesota.
Kyrie.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
What about down in L.A. with the Clippers?
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Come on.
Kuminga, Wiggins. I was surprised we didn't see both of them on the floor at the same time.
Well, and like Moody's playing such a good floor game yesterday. I'm saying to myself, boy, I'd really like to see him a little more here in this fourth quarter.
And it's not that Klay's going to come off the bench. It's more so the closing lineup, the last 5 minutes of the game.
But I do think yesterday, like I agree with you, closing is more important. Like they didn't execute. That's why they lost that game. They had a lead late, and then they blew it away. And then in the half court with 5 minutes to go, couldn't get stops, couldn't get offensive rebounds, took bad shots, missed free throws. It was a potpourri of reasons why they didn't win. But B, I didn't love the start of the game either.
It wasn't. I didn't like the CP3, and Klay Thompson, Steph Curry.
Yeah,
backcourt.
so like we could talk closing lineups, but I think that the starting lineup is important as well.
No, it's important because you want to get off to great starts.
Exactly.
I don't like starting off super small. When they started that game yesterday, it's like, damn, they're really small.
And a part of me
really
said,
small.
Can we reward, as I got crazy with Farhan, for the preseason, can we reward Kuminga in an opportunity where Dre isn't going to play, okay? And I get it. It's CP3's debut with the Warriors. Why not reward the 21-year-old Kuminga who's done everything right during the offseason and was the second leading scorer in preseason? And I know people are going to scoff at that. It's preseason. It doesn't mean anything. I think it matters for JK's psyche.
Well,
I think he cares about those things.
No, he's in a good spot, and he played some good minutes. He played important minutes, which will boost his confidence. All right, let's go.